What's up, family? You know, I don't even know if I want to do the regular intro for today's video. You know, man, I'll tell you what, just when you think you've seen it all, when you think that folks have done the most, you open up your YouTube feed and you find out the folks that you thought were already doing the most and could do no more took the most to a whole nother level. This is a different introduction. I'm Matt D. Talford, well-renowned author and storyteller of a couple of books that I'm not even going to mention in today's video. Check out some of my other videos, and also I always have links to my works in the description box below. All right, you can look at the works I've published. You can look at my blog and read me. Listen, there is a central theme to everything that I produce, whether it is video or written. With every what, there's a connected why, all right? I don't even know if I want to deal with the why today of what I'm about to show y'all, all right? Little Willie Gates. Little Willie Gates, AKA Bill Gates. And yes, I said Little Willie Gates, and the pun was intended. Because, you know, we don't know why. And I probably shouldn't say that, but, you know, right now I don't give a F. I don't. This dude, man, this dude. Let me tell y'all something, man. Back in 2020, I did a video showing the differences between software developers and software support engineers, all right? I wanted to show you a contrast. There was a very specific reason why I did that and why I spotlight Bill Gates in that video back in 2020. There's a very specific reason why I did it. I want y'all to watch that video. I'll put a link in the description box below. I'm not going to go into that, but I want to fast forward to today, because after I dropped that video and after I had some of the conversations I had on Facebook, which I'm relatively inactive on anymore. I haven't been active on Facebook for about a year and a half, and I don't miss it, to be honest. But after I dropped that video, I got to tell you, I had some friends that decided they didn't want to be friends anymore. I lost friends over my opinion on Little Willie Gates. Trying to tell these people, this dude's a con artist. They look at me like I'm the enemy. I'm like, huh? Y'all known me since we were children. Why? What do I have to gain by telling you, think twice before you take something from someone recommended by somebody who doesn't know you, one. Think twice before you take a recommendation of someone who's leading a medical / health crisis, whatever, and he's not medical. He's a software guy. Number two, think twice before you take something recommended by somebody who's patented injectable technology, all right? Number three. Number four, think twice before putting something in your body where if it screws you up, you can't sue anybody for it. Yeah, there's legislation protecting these pharmaceutical companies from getting sued if you get injured or worse from taking some of their injectables. And now this clown is trying to get you to take an intranasal mist. Oh yeah, squirt it up the nose, right? The brain's right there. Yeah, sure. Oh yeah, that'll be more effective. Intranasal mist, hitting your brain barrier, blood-brain barrier as they call it. Also going right into your respiratory system. That's a two-punch combo. That seems to me like it'll be faster acting than something injectable. He told you the other one wasn't going to work. You trust him on this one? Y'all subscribe to Jimmy Dore, man. Y'all subscribe to the Jimmy Dore Show. And I'm not saying you got to watch everything he puts out. Listen, I don't watch everything that comes out. It's like with anything else. When you subscribe, when they upload something, you get a notification. If the title is intriguing, watch it or save it for later. If it's not intriguing, don't watch it. I skip a lot of the political stuff because I don't care about politics like that anymore. But this one piqued my interest. because I was like, how in the HE double hockey sticks is the same guy that told you, first of all, he told you in 2010 there were too many people in the world and that a bunch of people needed to, the population numbers of the world needed to be reduced significantly. I'm just saying that nicely, okay? He says that in 2010. That's Exhibit A. 2019, they're testing a pandemic scenario. Months later, a pandemic happens. He's in that too. He's in all three of these mixes so far. All right, he's in all of them. And then he's telling you about something that you should take, that the technology for which was patented by him 3 years earlier. Yeah, come on, man. But I was the bad guy for trying to tell my friends and loved ones that pump the brakes before you trust this thing. Pump the brakes. First of all, listen, if you can give me something and I can't sue you if it harms me, I'm not taking it. Period. So you asking me to play roulette with your stuff? Like, come on, man. When do we use our common sense? When does common sense kick in? So now, 3 years after the initial introduction or revelation or whatever you want to call it, for those of y'all who don't play nice or play coy or whatever, the initial appearance, if you will, of CV19er, now the same guy that told you to take his recommended thing. Well, the truth is, the world's not going to go back to normal until everyone's been vaccinated. I still got people out here I still see people wearing masks. I still hear people, I got people out here talking about, well, y'all, you know, when COVID over. Huh? When COVID over? He said the world's going to go back to normal when, all right. And then you got major organizations now, sports and civic, saying, yo, pump the brakes. We're not giving this to our people anymore. And now this guy, he cashes in his chips. He put 55 mil in. He took 550 out after cashing out. And then after he cashes out, he says, yeah, we found out it doesn't work. Well, you know, we found out the vaccines don't work. They don't work the way we thought they would. We've got something better now. We found out they're not effective in preventing any disease, or they're not effective in preventing transmission or preventing you from getting it. So, they don't work. Okay, but we've got an intranasal mist. We got something we could spray up your nose that's going to be effective. It's going to prevent you from getting it. It's going to make you totally immune. Got some new snake oil for y'all, man. Y'all come try this, yeah. Snake came out of the sky off a meteor. Yeah, new interstellar snake. Yeah, we was able to, you know, catch it, kill it, boil it down, get the oil out, inject this. It'll protect you from getting everything. Dude's a con artist, man. He just y'all heard the story of how Microsoft got started? You heard about him selling a software operating system that he didn't have, and then he went and scrambled and got one that didn't work that well. Dirty operating system. That's what DOS stands for. And he rebranded it MS-DOS, Microsoft Dirty Operating System. How ironic. Dirty operating system. The dude is still selling dirty modus operandi systems, all right? He got a dirty MO, dirty modus operandi, all right? The dude is dirty, man. I can't believe that I lost friends and family members that just kind of just stopped dealing with me because I saw through the bull, you know? It's funny, man. It's funny. And now the same dude. Now I want to hear what people are going to say. And I don't even want to hear. I don't care, because I'm not that dude, man. I'm not that dude. It's a damn shame what has happened to so many lives, how so many lives have been affected by the lies. And then he comes out later and says that the stuff is not effective after he makes a grip off of it. And then he wants to tell you about something he's got that's better. I want to see. I wonder how many people gonna bite on this fish hook. I wonder how many people gonna bite on this one this time. Yo, man, y'all check out Jimmy Dore, man. Y'all check him out. Just check this video out. This video is going to blow your mind, hearing it right from the horse's mouth. And be sure you check out the video that I have below where I talked about the holes I saw in the game in 2020. All right. I contrasted software developers with software support engineers. All right. Showed you the differences and showed you how they relate to what's going on, what was going on in the world then and what's really going on in the world now. All right. Same. Say it's rinse, repeat. It's rinse, repeat, people. It's rinse, repeat. So, man, y'all tell somebody you love them and mean it. I mean, it's love. Love is the only thing that's gonna save this world anymore, man. And that's why that's why they make. When I say they, I'm talking about this system, the Matrix. All right, what Sophia Stewart wrote about when she wrote her books initially, that became the bases for the Matrix movies. Okay, and the Terminator movies. Love really, I'm sorry, the low vibrational thing. When I say they, I was talking about the Matrix, the system. It has one job, and that is to keep you in low vibrational energy. When you're in low vibrational energy, and I'm gonna do another video on why, I'm gonna talk about why why this other platform, I'll name it in that video, but y'all know which one I'm talking about. They're pushing reels, why they're pushing reels, why they're telling you if you want your material, your content to trend up and to be seen more, it needs to be a reel. I'm gonna tell you why they're doing that. It's got everything to do with what I'm talking about here. Y'all got to be able to see through this, man, and stop dismissing these voices that see through it, that are trying to help everybody, man. The Most High, the Creator, He's given some people intuition and the ability to see things that sometimes they wish they didn't see. And then He charged them with speaking on it. Y'all got to be willing to hear these people, man. You got to be willing to hear opposing sides of an argument and then choosing which one suits you best. The problem is there is a system that does not want you to hear an opposing side of the argument. Why? Because perhaps the opposing side of the argument will highlight and spotlight the holes in side number one. All right. I love you guys, man. I do. This is why I do it. This is why I do what I do, man. This is why I do what I do. Tell somebody you love them and mean it. How do you mean it? You got to show it. Love can only be experienced. You can hear love, but if you don't feel it, it was sounding brass, as is written in the scripture. It was sounding brass. It can only be experienced, and the only way an individual or group can experience love is to have an individual or a group radiate real love. Your body knows the difference between what's real and what isn't when it comes to love. You can mask it for only so long, but real love always shows up because it is a bright light that cannot be put out. Y'all start radiating those bright lights. That's what's going to elevate the planet. This is a spiritual war going on. I didn't wear my fatigues today because I didn't want this to be a spiritual warfare conversation. But love always wins. Light always drives out darkness. But if your enemy can keep you from switching your light on, then they got a chance. And I say a chance. You'll never hear me give up that they can win. No, they got a chance of surviving a little longer. What's coming upon this earth is written. Any author knows that what is written, when that book is published, and as that reader picks up that book and reads that story and watches how it's developing, I don't care how bad that reader wants certain characters to do certain things. Whatever is written in that book is going to happen. And as above, so below. So what is ever written and recorded in the heavens is going to play out. And the end of this age and the beginning of the one that follows is already written and recorded. The darkness, the time's up. Don't get caught in the darkness. Otherwise, you'll be gone away with it. The light is going to reign again on this planet. It's going to reign again in this realm. That's word. I love you guys. Enjoy this episode of the Jimmy Dore Show, and show him some love. Hit the record button. I mean, hit the subscribe button. If you like his content, you like it, hit the subscribe button. Again, I don't watch everything, But the when I get that notification, if it intrigues me, I get it. I'm gonna watch it. And don't just subscribe to him and not subscribe to me if you're already not a subscriber. All right. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Enjoy Jimmy Dore. It's coming right up after this short break. You're watching Matty's Rap with author Matt D. Talford. I love you guys. There won't be any sign off after the Jimmy Dores. I'm just gonna let the video fade to black. Love you guys from the bottom of my heart. This is why I do what I do. Peace, y'all. Give somebody a hug. If you really like him, give him a kiss. Peace.
So Bill Gates was in Australia at the Lowry Institute, and he said this about the vax, and I'm going to tell you why this is interesting.
Antibodies, antivirals. We think we can also have, very early in an epidemic, a thing you can inhale that will mean that you can't be infected, a blocker, an inhaled blocker. We also need to fix the 3 problems with vaccines. The current vaccines...
So he's just announcing a whole new thing that nobody ever heard of. A guy, by the way, again, a college dropout is talking about medical stuff that I've never heard of, as if he's a leading researcher on medical stuff. He's not. Again, he's not a doctor. He's not a virologist. He's not a scientist. He's a college dropout. Why is he talking as if he's a doctor? Because he has a lot of money. That's why. And then so he gives this, whoever, Lowry Institute, he gives the money. I'm just guessing this is how this works. It's like he gives the WHO money. He gives everybody money. And then they invite him to come talk because you're so smart. We want to hear what you have to say. Thanks for the $1 billion.
You know what it sounds like is when Elon Musk would hype something and then it's going to take another 2 months and then another 2 months.
Yes.
Like a hyperloop. So
now he's hyping this new thing that you inhale that's going to give you immunity from a virus. What?
Wasn't that Glass Onion movie? Remember Glass Onion? Did you see that?
No.
On Netflix? They get in the beginning. It's very bizarre because in the beginning everybody's wearing masks. I guess they made it during the pandemic. The scene's insane. And then the rich guy comes out, shoots something in their mouths so that they'll be fine. They don't need to worry about masks.
Really?
Now, I don't even understand why the scene's in there. You could have just had them not wear masks, like not even deal with it. They did this thing where, because the guy's a jerk off, the rich guy too with the character, so I don't get why. Does he have the cure of COVID? It's very strange, but it sounds exactly like what he just said.
So let's listen to the next part. Watch this. Hang on.
Antibodies, antivirals. We think we can also have, very early in an epidemic, a thing you can inhale that will mean that you can't.
I like how he says we think. You're sitting around brainstorming ideas on medicine? Really, Bill? That's what you're doing?
He probably texts from Epstein Island to the scientists. Hey, keep working.
We think we can develop
Jeffrey and I.
Yeah.
Be infected, a blocker, an inhaled blocker. We also need to fix the 3 problems with vaccines. The current vaccines are not infection blocking. They're not broad, so when new variants come up, you lose protection. And they have very short duration, particularly in the people who matter, which are old people. And every one of the...
Bill Gates, first of all, I hope he loses his YouTube channel for saying that stuff.
Yeah, because the vaccines are effective. They slow the spread.
They're safe.
They're for everyone, especially children.
They're for everyone. And you'll feel so, when you get your vaccine, your heart will swell with pride.
You might even have Joe Scarborough hair.
You might even. So I don't know how he got this. So he's super, it seems like he's super, what's the term? Shitting on the vax. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
He's super shitting on the vax right there. Did you hear all that horrible stuff he said about it? Here it comes.
The current vaccines are not infection blocking. They're not broad, so when new variants come up, you lose protection. And they have very short duration, particularly in the people who matter, which are old people. And every one of those things is fixable. In fact, doing that work is going to help vaccinology very, very broadly.
Thanks.
So I don't know why he's talking, but again, but what I do know why he's talking about is because he's like all billionaires. He is a fucking megalomaniac who wants to control things. And I don't know if you noticed, he's really, what's the term? He's shitting on the vaccine. Now, why would he be doing that? After reaping huge profits selling BioNTech shares, Bill Gates trashes the effectiveness of the COVID vaccines. What? So now I gave Robbie a hard time on the show the other day for not knowing anything about COVID. And I stand by that ball busting. But he did a good job here. So something happened. They woke up. He woke up over at Rising. And Brianna Joy Gray also does a good job on this. Now, Kim Iverson used to be over there, and she was always the person bringing the truth about COVID. And everyone else at Rising had no idea what was going on and was spreading the establishment talking points on the regular. Is that the
hill you want to die on, Jimmy?
That's the hill. So now I'm showing this because I think they did a really good job with this. So I'll let you watch this. This is going to be a stunner.
Bill Gates was a major, I think it's fair to say, major proponent of mRNA vaccine technology. He was an investor in BioNTech, which developed the mRNA vaccine for Pfizer. We were just doing some digging, and we see that he actually sold a lot of those shares at a, how much profit was that?
10x. So he invested $55 million.
He invested $55 million. Can you imagine investing $55 million? After you make $55 million, wouldn't you just retire?
Investing an entire Jon Stewart on
investing an entire Jon Stewart's net worth into a BioNTech vaccine company. $55 million. He invests. How did he do? He got the return on that 10 times over. His money got 10 times over. That's what she just said. 10x. So that would be around $500 million. I'm not a math surgeon.
In BioNTech back in 2019.
He invested $55 million in 2019. What was about to happen? What was about to frickin' happen? I don't know. I can't think of anything.
And it's now worth north of $550 million.
So invested $55 million, now worth $555 million. Wow. And then he cashed some of it out. I don't know how much, but they say.
That guy's pretty smart. He should talk about vaccine.
Some stock. What was it in at the end of last year, I believe it was, with the share price over $300 a share, which represented a huge gain for him over when he invested. So yeah, he certainly has profited a great deal.
Let's follow that trajectory. Invests heavily in BioNTech. mRNA vaccines, great. This is the future. This is, he talked about the vaccine timeline and how, we could develop it faster. We might have to cut some corners on safety, but it could be developed faster. All in, sells it, makes a huge amount of money. Now it's like, yeah, it's okay. It could be better. But what we really need is this breath spread.
Yeah, when you put it like that, Robbie, it doesn't sound
I don't mean to sound unreasonable, but
yeah.
So I thought that was very well said, very put together, and thanks for that information. Well, could you? Bill Gates is now. If I would have said that stuff, people would be calling me anti-vax. What Bill Gates said. If I said that stuff, they get my YouTube channel taken down. If I said that stuff, but now Bill Gates is saying it now. Why? Because he sold his stock.
Bill Gates, it sounds like the hype of like a video game, and then they do all the same thing, except it's just your health.
Yes. Yeah.
But the same cycle of like hype, disappointment, hyping a new thing. That sucks. Here's the new thing. But it's your health. That's why I love our private medical for-profit.
For-profit.
Pharmaceutical. That's the joy of it, I guess.
So... Okay, I forget what I was going to say now. Hang on. All right, so let's just go to this next. Should the guy who's got a seat at the WHO advising us on COVID policy, which is what Bill Gates is doing, everywhere he goes, he gets a seat. Should we know that guy had invested $55 million into the goddamn BioNTech vaccine? Shouldn't we know that? Shouldn't he have to wear that on his shirt as he goes out to talk about COVID and the vaccines? He should. Okay.
What's going to be required of people? The Biden administration tried to require people to get this. Doesn't it? Yeah. Shouldn't it be known at least when there are hundreds of millions of dollars of financial interest at stake for the people advising these decisions?
Yes. I mean, we talked
And their
about
tune changes, it follows the money.
Did you hear him? And their tune changes. It follows the money. Like he's surprised. I know.
What does Robbie want to punish success?
He actually comes back and says, I don't want to punish success.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, you don't want to be out of the institute or whatever the hell.
But it's just funny. He goes, it just follows the money.
I want to ask every libertarian this, like, how come all these huge billionaires, they all get to be libertarians, but me down here, I have to either be a Democrat or go throw myself off a bridge? Like, it's only for the richest guys. Everybody else don't get to be a libertarian.
Yes. I love his chagrin. Turns out money has been influencing this COVID vaccine thing all along.
Money influences Bill Gates.
Really? You mean the pothead comedian has been saying it for 2 years?
It's like the invisible.
It's like, oh my God. Yeah, the big pharma people are evil and only ruled by money and profits.
Wait, are you telling me the invisible hand of the market has in fact become visible?
Yeah. So until this point, Kurt, they're just doing it because they want to end the pandemic.
Does it dawn on Robbie that the thing he's saying now, which he should have been saying the whole time.
He wasn't.
Bill Gates is only allowed to say it because he's got $1 billion goddamn dollars.
That's right.
And he has to, like, now slowly the sunrise comes up over Knowledge Mountain for him.
Well, now Bill Gates doesn't. He's now, what's the term? He's shitting on the vaccine while he props up this new thing, this thing we can inhale. That's a blocker. How much money did? Question. How much money do you have invested in the new thing that you inhale and block? I'd like to know, because I'm pretty sure that's going to be mandated somehow going forward.
Oh, I'm going to be in line. Get it at midnight the first day.
So Bill Gates didn't have to tell anybody that hey, by the way, I stand to make about $500 million if we mandate all this stuff. It's going to really be $500 million for me.
It doesn't work.
It doesnent blockchain. So, and I can't believe he could say, well, let's watch the rest of this.
A few weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago, we talked about that story where the new booster, this isn't an argument against boosters, but it's an argument against this new booster that was supposed to offer more protection against the current variant. In fact, offered less protection. And then you dig a little deeper. And if the government has paid, like, what was it, $5 billion for this new booster that wasn't actually more effective than the booster that they've already paid for.
And the CDC's not happy about that. It's not just all the conspiracy theory kooks out there. The CDC itself is like, wait a minute, you didn't tell us about that.
This is a grift. These companies are...
Mark it down. What's the fucking date today? January 30th.
Oh.
Billionaire-funded news outlets finally figured out that the big pharma thing and COVID is a grift.
The day the music died.
This
for
is
Robbie
it.
Sove.
They get fat. So there it is.
Drove a Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry.
They finally figured out that the people who put asbestos in baby powder and then sold it to poor people, the people who put tainted AIDS stuff in blood clotting stuff and sent it to poor countries knowing it was giving people AIDS, those same people who sold you Vioxx knowing it was going to kill you and give you a heart attack, those people who got half the country hooked on heroin, you mean they would somehow do nefarious shit around COVID and the vaccines?
I always thought they really get it together when it comes to that. Like,
that's what I thought.
They
would start being
they're
nice.
A cartel, basically, every other thing. But when it comes to something really important that they can't be sued for, that's when they get real moral.
That they can't be.
That's when some things are more important than profit, finally. When they can't be sued.
When they can't be sued. When they can't be sued, that's when you get your morality. So I'm loving this segment that they're doing. I'm really enjoying it. Let's see if there's more.
Like, wait a minute, you didn't tell us about that.
This is a grift. These companies are extracting money, taxpayer money, as it were, to pay for medical treatments that are not indicated by medical professions and, in fact, are yet less useful than what we already have. At the same time, and I talked about this in my radar, the Biden administration is opening its doors, its revolving doors, to people from these various industries like...
So I just want to let... I'm glad everybody's catching up to speed.
A couple of years?
The head of the vaccine department at the FDA, the two heads who were there for 31, who was there for 32 years, resigned over the original boosters. So that was back in September of 2021.
Oh, that freak, as my friend Joe Scarborough told me.
So that was back in September 2021. And this is how long it's taken for everybody else to catch on board that there's some nefarious shit happening.
I don't think it has. I think a bunch of them figured it out way earlier, but they just now feel
they were afraid to say something.
Enough. That's what I think.
Oh, okay.
That's what I think. I don't know about
there are people when I see people like Neil deGrasse Tyson go on that show and say that stuff, I'm like, no, they really believe it.
No, yeah, he's a punk. But I mean, a bunch of news people that follow this stuff, a bunch of them are like, well, I shouldn't say that. Like, they just have that built. It really is true, that Noam Chomsky thing. They just know what
they have
say.
The internal censor. Okay.
You want to get ahead, right? You don't want to not get ahead in your career, right?
Correct.
Zients, who is the new
so now she's going to complain about the regulatory capture, right? She's going to talk about the
she has for a bit, right?
The revolving door. It was Kim Iverson.
To people from these various industries, like Jeff Zients, who is the new chief of staff for Joe Biden as Ron Klain exits, who has spent his entire career profiting at the kinds of companies, investing in these kinds of companies that have been overbilling the government, overcharging the government for Medicare and Medicaid payments, and extracting these exact kind of overpayments. It is an enormous grift, and a grift that is incredibly common. Pharmaceutical companies have been trying to trick doctors and extract overpayments since time immemorial. Occasionally they get these taps on the wrist where they have to pay these settlements. But on the whole, they get away with it. And the idea that the Biden administration is now
2.5 years it took for these kind of conversations. Now, tip of the hat, Kim Iverson was always pushing the envelope at the Hill. So God bless, but you know, they got rid of her. So, but here it is.
Who runs the Hill?
I don't know who the people are who run the Hill. But I know it was owned by a billionaire. I don't know if it still is. But
could somebody get a call to the Rising because they're going off the reservation?
They're going off. I don't know if you can say that.
Call Joe Hill. I don't think he's going to be happy about
because
this.
Mr. Hill,
Mr. Hill,
they're not being friendly to Big Pharma. So this was great to see. I mean, this is really great to see, and I just thought, shouldn't we have always been saying this? Shouldn't we always, every conversation about the vaccine should have sounded like this? Like, hey, we know these guys are criminals. Where are they lying? And it turns out they were lying. They were lying about everything. They were lying about masks. They were lying about natural immunity. They were lying about herd immunity. They were lying about the vaccine stopping transmission. They were lying about the boosters. They were hiding information. What didn't they lie about? They were lying. They said if you said the virus came from Wuhan, you were racist. So, but by the way, I have to tell you that vaccine is safe and effective, and it will slow the spread and contraction of the virus, and it will keep you from getting seriously ill or hospitalized or dead. It is fantastic.
Yeah. I can't wait for that spray.
I can't wait for that spray. Yeah,
I can't wait to get a few more boosters before that, but
I'll definitely get a few more boosters.
Day one, I'll have it 10.
But I want that spray. I want to invest in that spray. Here we go.
Saying we want one of those guys to be in a senior leadership position here at the White House. It's deeply disturbing.
Yeah, it is deeply disturbing. You got to follow the money a little bit. Like I'm not demonizing.
He's not demonizing.
Why does he have to qualify what he's saying? Because he's going to be in trouble with who?
I don't know, but he's like, I'm not demonizing people because that's what they'll say. He knows the bad faith attacks that will come at him. He goes, I'm not demonizing people for success or making money. So he knows because those are bad faith attacks. Okay, but anyways, good job to them. It's nice to have company telling the truth about Big Pharma. The jumping off point should have always been Big Pharma are lying psychopathic criminals because that's what they are.
But I'm scared now.
And Fauci is a psychopathic lying criminal. You know, if you see that movie, The Dallas Buyers Club, with Matthew McConaughey about how they couldn't get the drugs they needed to treat AIDS people because the government was standing in between. And you know who the bad guy was in that movie, in The Dallas Buyers Club? Dr. Fauci. He was the bad guy in that movie, but since Big Pharma owns the media, they don't want you to know that, so you don't know that. So you don't know that. And Matthew McConaughey's not going to tell you. He's a good boy.
Is he?
Well, did he tell you?
I didn't see the Dallas Buyers Club.
Well, I'm just saying, has he been on the TV saying, hey, everybody shouldn't be listening to this Fauci? I know something about this guy. I was the star of the Dallas Buyers Club, and he was the asshole in the movie. Hey, we're doing live stand-up comedy in Los Angeles, Tempe, Arizona, Palm Springs, Milwaukee, Minneapolis, Nashville, Northampton, Massachusetts, and a lot more places. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets and become a premium member while you're there. You get access to all of our stuff. See you then.